that scene in Star Wars Return of the Jedi where C-3PO is telling the story of Luke Skywalker and his friends and all of the adventures they went on to the Ewoks? Basically, replace C-3PO with Bartolomeo and the Ewoks with his crew. Because he was telling the entire history of the Straw Hat Pirates and how they formed their pirate group in this week's episode. If you are a follower of One Piece, this is all going to seem very familiar to you. The good thing is, a lot of these scenes are reanimated with the newer animation, so it is worth it to see that for the very first time. But if you want to skip all of that and just get to the good parts of this week's episode, then skip to 17 minutes and 30 seconds into this week's episode of One Piece, and that's when the Zou arc officially begins. Before we get to the introduction of the Island of Zou, there is one other element of this episode which is pretty damn awesome and an amazing build-up to a brand new character. There is a brand new Shichibukai, a warlord, and he goes by the name of Edward Weevil, and he is the self-proclaimed son of Whitebeard, and he just got done kicking the asses of over 600 different people in the entire AO pirate crew, a subordinate pirate crew of Whitebeard himself. Why is this Edward Weevil going after them and causing so much destruction? Well, we're gonna have to wait a couple more episodes before we get to that. Maybe even we'll see it all in next week's episode, which, trust me my friends, when we see this character, it's gonna be one hell of a ride. I love the build-up of this character. I love seeing the utter destruction that he has caused, all of the defeated pirates, the fire erupting from the city that he destroyed. Edward Weevil is going to be a really fun character, and even amongst the manga readers of One Piece, he's still a pretty mysterious character, so I cannot wait to see his formal introduction in the anime version. The rest of the episode, we finally arrive to the Island of Zou, and guess what? It's not really an island at all. It's a giant 1,000-year-old elephant, which is constantly moving, which according to Trafalgar Law, makes it a phantom island. However, getting to this island is going to be a little tough, not to mention it's inhabited by the Mink tribe. The Mink tribe seems to have it out for humans, so you know that's going to lead to a lot of conflict. If you want to see what the Mink tribe actually looks like, just look at the intro of the show. They're a bunch of animal people, but trust me when I say they're a great addition to the One Piece world. Not to mention the introduction of this massive elephant. It's pretty freaking awesome. It's a nice change of pace for the One Piece series. It always manages to do something really unique with every single arc, and that's what was so great about this week's episode. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? Honestly, I just don't have that much more to say about this one. It was a big 17-minute recap of all the Straw Hat Pirates and how they joined the crew, but when we finally got to the teasing of Edward Weevil, that's when things really picked up. And of course, getting to see the Island of Zou, which is just massive in scale. We've never really seen an island like this in the One Piece series before, just the fact that it's a living island. And of course, this is going to answer all those weird questions we had a couple of episodes ago when we had Nami and Sanji and Brook on the island, and they were running around and the ground was moving. It was actually the skin of an elephant, and that giant water volcano was actually its trunk spitting out water. On the technical side of things, for One Piece standards, this was a pretty good looking episode. Like I said, it's worth noting that all of the flashback sequences are newly animated, and I don't know why animation companies do this. They do that all the time in the Naruto Shippuden series, when they could easily just take their original anime and just use that, and maybe put some letterboxing around it, because maybe it was in an old, like, non-widescreen format. Maybe that's why they reanimate it. They could be saving themselves so much money. Maybe they're just trying to keep their animators frosty. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's for continuity's sake, because the old art style of One Piece certainly looks a little different than the new style of One Piece. It's still wacky, weird, and disproportionate, but there was a slight change as the series went on. Another reason this is actually a pretty decent episode of One Piece, I think, to me, is it's good for new fans of the series. If there are those who feel intimidated by the massive amount of episodes that are in One Piece, I mean, this is episode 751 right here. That's freaking crazy when you really do think about it. This is a great way to sort of be quickly introduced to all of these characters and see their backstory. You're not going to be able to see see like every major fight in every single arc, but if you want to jump into the One Piece series, this is certainly a good episode to do that in, because you're going to be at least introduced to the main characters and a brand new story is about to begin. However, I do recommend, if you're wanting to get into the One Piece anime series, start from the beginning. Just do it. You're just going to get obsessed with the series, with the characters, and you're going to want to see their story evolve as the series goes on, and that's one of the best things about the One Piece anime series. And this was a pretty good episode, despite all of the recappage. That being said, it was still kind of an average episode of One Piece, so I am going to give this episode right here a 3 out of 5. But still, it's building a lot of hype for the Zou arc. Next week's episode is going to be crazy. If any of you did watch this week's episode of One Piece, make sure to tell me what you thought of this week's episode in the comment section below. Going through all of the recaps of the Straw Hat Pirates, which member of the crew is your favorite? Please tell me in the comment section below, and also tell me what you want to see from the brand new Zou arc. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all that other bullshit. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!